This is lesson number 5. It's all about if statements, otherwise known as conditional statements. These are pretty much a formula that allows you to display whatever you want, whether it be text or some kind of figure, based on if a condition is met or multiple conditions are met. So if you go to summary, we have here the total number of cars sold. I want to make an if statement that will pop up kind of like a status or something based on the number of cars sold. Okay, so just for the sake of learning how the ifs work, I'm going to do one that's kind of a little bit pointless, but it'll kind of show you the structure of an if statement. So they always start with equals if and an open bracket. Okay, so that's how your if statement starts. Okay, now pretty much the way these work is you read them just like you would a sentence. So at the moment it says if nothing. But if we say select this cell up here, B3, it now says if B3. And what I want to do is say if B3 is maybe less than 5 or equal to 5 or maybe says a certain thing. In this case, I'm going to make it say is greater than 5. Now I can make it do something. Okay, so if B3 is greater than 5, I'm going to make it say a certain text in this cell. And to make it say text, you have to put in talking marks. And we're going to make it say good. Okay, so now it says if B3 is greater than 5, this cell is going to say good. Okay, but we obviously have to make the alternative. Okay, so comma, and now we make the next if. If B3, you can type it in or you can click it and it'll go in as well. If B3 is less than or equal to, so you can put them together if you want, less than or equal to 5, make it say bad. Okay, in our talking marks. And now we close the second set of brackets we opened, the green ones, and we close the black one. Okay, the black one is always the last one. So if you were to build multiple ifs one after another, you could keep going. You know, if it's less than 5, if it's greater than 5, you can even make it less than 2 or negatives even. Okay, you could make even more variables. But for this one, we're just going to do 2. Okay, so if B3 is greater than 5, make it say good. If it's less than 5 or equal to 5, make it say bad. Press enter. And we know that it's 6, so that's good. Okay, let's just test it. Let's change this to 4. It says bad. Let's change it to 5. It still says bad because that's all within our parameters. Now we've just messed up our lookup, so let's just press Ctrl Z twice. So our lookup formula is good again. Okay, so that's the first kind of if statement. Alright, the second if statement that I'm going to teach you is the if and. Okay, so you can create 2 conditions for your if statement. This is also interchangeable with or if you want the statement to meet one of 2 options. And I'll show you what I mean. Equals if and, open bracket again. And now we can put in our 2 options. So the first one is going to be like last time, if B3 is greater than 5. But now we can add another option. So B3 is greater than 5 and C3 has to be less than 30. Okay, so both of those options have to be met now. Again, now we put in our close bracket for the green brackets, and now we type in what happens. So if it meets both criteria, we're going to make it say great. Okay, and now we're just going to finish off this if statement with what happens if it doesn't meet the criteria. Okay, and we're going to make it say average and close bracket. Now I could keep building, like last time, by adding more ifs in the same statement if I wanted to put multiple variables in. But this statement, I just want it to be quite simple. I just want it to say if they sell if they sell more than 5 cars, and if they work for less than 30 hours, we say great. If they don't meet those, they say average. Okay, so press enter. And so it's average because though he meets the first option, he doesn't meet the second option of 40. Okay, and we can prove this to you by changing that to 29, and now it says great because it meets both criteria. Okay, press undo, Control Z, because we want our lookup to be good again. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do an if or. Okay, so pretty much the same as what we did there. So I'm just going to highlight that, copy, press escape, click down to the next cell, click up here into the formula bar, press Ctrl V, and we're just going to change the and to or. Press enter. Okay, and now it says great because it meets one of the two criteria. Remember, an or statement will allow the criteria to only be one of the two options. Okay, and because it meets more than 5, then it says great. And I can change that for, now it says average because it doesn't meet both of those options. Okay, press undo again. Okay, so there are 3 simple if statements. Once you've got those saved into your spreadsheet, I would save that right now because those will be quite valuable for you later on. Alright, now let's make an if statement that's more applicable to this scenario. Grab the graph, move it over, and we're going to add some more columns here. We're going to call this one sales ratio, and we're going to call this next one status. Alright, just make them a bit bigger so they fit. And let's fix up our formatting real quick. Alright, so our sales ratio is going to be kind of like a simple maths equation. Number of cars sold divided by hours worked gives us a ratio of 0.15. Copy that formula down so it applies to everybody. Fix up the decimal placing because it's a bit too accurate. We'll just make it 2 decimal places. So decrease the decimal and increase it by 1. And there we go, we've got 2 decimal places. Alright, now let's make it if the ratio is greater than 0.4, then our status is going to be great. And it will just decrease worse and worse the less it is. Okay, so let's make the if statement equals if D3 is greater than or equal to 0.4, make it say great. If D3 is greater than or equal to 3, make it, 0.3, make it say good. If D3 is greater than or equal to 0.2, make it say average. And if it's lower than 0.2, we're just going to make it say bad. Okay, we don't need to write an if for that because we've already made ifs for all the other options, so anything lower than that is going to be bad. Okay, so close the first, second, and third set of brackets, press enter, and our if statement is done. Okay, you can have a read of that just there. You can pause it if you need to stare at it right now. Now's your time. Okay, now we're going to grab the bottom right hand corner and copy the formula down, and you can see that it's worked. Okay, now just to test our variable great, let's just change the number of cars Bruce sold to like 20. Okay, now he's got a great ratio. Okay, so just press Ctrl Z. Alright, so that's some simple if statements. These ones are anyway. This one's a little bit more complicated, and that's one way you can do it. Okay, now if statements can also work mathematically as well, and you'll probably have to do that later on in a different tutorial.